Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Vinny. And today is one of those absolutely fantastic few days of the year where we get an insight into Michael Burry, one of the greatest stock traders of all time. What is he buying? What is he selling? What is he thinking? Because he's been off Twitter. So we're going to take a look at his portfolio filings today, hot off the presses.
Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks.
So, this is kind of jumping ahead, but for those of us that are been around this channel for a little while, know that Dylan and I both own shares in Alibaba, and he was in Alibaba not that long ago as his last quarterly filing. I hate to say it, but he sold all of his Alibaba and JD shares. It's actually, you'll see that's on the second slide, second page of this. This is called whalewisdom.com, by the way, in case anyone wants to track this. But basically, you can see what he's done with his positions here. So he closed out of his Baba position and his JD position entirely in the last quarter.
Right. And he looks like he sold a bunch of regional banks as well.
Yeah. I was going to mention that specifically too, because Dylan followed him into some of those trades on regional banks. It looks like he has said that's over. He's out of those, so he's scaling back his positions and all but like one of them, I think. The headline though is going to be this right here. Do you see this? Yeah. So think about the fact that this guy currently holds 2,000 put options. That's how big this position is.
Okay. Wow, that's ballsy.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this for the first time. I didn't get to see this. That is ballsy as hell. That is a lot of money.
This lies a little bit about market value, right? Because like he's never had this much actual kind of long positions within his portfolio. It's a little complicated because he doesn't have to disclose anything that are non-US based investments. So he could very well own other things, and especially into including cash that will not be listed on here. But when you're looking at equities in the U.S. and also options contracts, they will give you the total market value of the position. So right now he's effectively short like 1.5 billion into the U.S. equities. It's a big, sexy number, isn't it? 1.5 billion.
I want to show the chart real quick because this is that. I mean, that's obviously like a wild trade. So, what are the time frames of when he had to put this in? Just explain that.
So, this is filed. It was filed today, but it has to be filed within 45 days of the end of the calendar quarter close. So, this is his holdings as of June 30th, the end of quarter two for 2023. Okay. So you got to kind of look at where the market's been since the end of June.
So June 30th to about here is where he could have entered. So at some time in here, he would have entered this position. He's not doing well. Assuming, no, at no point are we lower than we were. So I guess he's still waiting for quite a big move to happen. If you zoom in here, you'll see that this is a cross. This is not a big deal. This is more of a day trading signal, not a stock trading signal. And then same thing here. So he is notoriously early for a lot of things. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. The great comment about Michael Burry is that he's called 10 of the last 2 recessions. And when he's right, he's made big money. That is not the majority of what he does as far as actually trading, though, right? He cycles a lot for like a value investor kind of guy. A lot of these companies on here, if you actually dive into their financials, Expedia is one I've been meaning to take a look at. I have not. The first company on here that I've kind of like taken a deeper dive into is CVS. And CVS is looking actually mighty attractive to me. It's one that I'm intending to start selling cash secured puts against because I actually would like to own it and reasonable price kind of right now. I think they have a good potential of having above market average returns over the next 10 years for my own stupid guy portfolio. So that's the one I can probably speak to the most about here. MGM, Stellantis, I own one of their products right now and it's giving me headaches. So I'm not sure that's the Chrysler group in case you didn't recognize the name. It's a Dodge Chrysler. Energy, Signet Jewlers is another interesting one. I don't know a ton about their finances right now. He looks like he was already scaling back that position anyways. Warner Brothers is one I've owned in the past. They actually are trading at a pretty cheap multiple. That's kind of the argument here behind a lot of the Burry style thinking is like, if you can get something for a good multiple, then, you have a little bit more downside protection and then you can capitalize on the whole market sell off, hopefully through these like put options, is I guess his thought.
Right. And we've seen, looking at this chart, he's already established that he's got balls of steel. Like everyone's seen the movie, right? He was underwater like 60% at one point. So we don't know what he's thinking. I don't understand. But no matter where he would have entered, if he still has it, he is underwater. Unless he entered like literally at, what is this, June 20 or June 16th. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, the other kind of interesting thing with his kind of trading style with this is that he has had big ones in the past. He had that big Apple puts at one point in time, and he just got out of that at a loss. Never bet against Apple. But he's from a position sizing standpoint. If you were to look at the total value, I want to say when he shorted the housing market, it wasn't like the same ultimate kind of realm where I think it was 700 million plus to his total bet there. So this is actually would be even bigger right now, I guess, relatively.
I mean, it's both. It's SPY and Qs, and I think it was 1.6 billion.
Yeah,
based off that. So
yeah,
jeez.
It's a big sexy number. A lot of other companies he's kind of investing here. You've seen some energy companies, some other low multiple ones. This Nexstar Energy is I'm sorry, Media Group is another one that's kind of it's a local cable company that is also a smaller multiple. This is the old QVC or HSN. Where he bought this before and then sold it. And now he bought it again. This one actually had a nice pop when he did that the first time. I'm not sure about today. Still seeing more energy companies. The other trade I thought that was kind of interesting is if you actually go to the second page here, they're all smaller positions, but small cap Japan ETF, and then he's got another Japan ETF, and then he's got another Japan ETF, and then he had I would say this last one's a Japan ETF too. I guess it's kind of something that might be worth digging into a little bit as far as like the macro environment or U.S. equities versus Japanese. I know Japanese have had decades of underperformance and stagnating economy and aging population, and they have a lot of headwinds against them. I'm not really sure where they are as far as their valuation standpoint on their equities though right now.
All right. I mean, that should be our next video, right? You analyze all these Japan things. I'm gonna look at the market because theoretically, if he's shorting now, you could enter. I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm going to be very clear here. I'm not going to. I need to look at this. But you could enter now and actually have a better buying spot. Then I need to figure out what he's thinking. But it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's really frustrating with him not being on Twitter anymore. He hasn't really tweeted since I want to say May was his last one. So the only time we get an insight into what he's doing anymore is when he files these 13Fs. And as you can see, this is actually one of his more complicated ones. And it seems like there's multiple different trades here where he's long, low multiple companies. He's long energy. He's long bulk storage or bulk transportation is another one. You saw a few companies in here. He's short kind of major indices in the U.S. and then he's going to be long Japan. Those are kind of the themes that I took from this. That seems like the Burry trades going on in his mind right now.
Yeah. All right. So this weekend we'll do kind of a deep dive into some of these individual trades and also go over some China news that hurt BABA's earnings. So we'll get all to that all this weekend, guys.
All right. Catch you next one.